This evening, first, mistaken identity, real consequences. A young contractor, wrongly named in connection with Adriana's disappearance, speaks out after losing business and peace of mind. Tonight, he wants his name cleared and accountability for how this could happen. Plus, over 6,000 traffic violations in 13 days, speeding, seatbelts, and unsafe vehicles. New numbers reveal a disturbing trend on Guyana's roads. Police urge drivers to do the right thing, but is enough being done to make our streets safer? Also, murder charge filed in Linden shooting. 2 weeks after the killing of Ronaldo Peters, Police Sergeant Philbert Kendall has been charged with murder. But why was the victim's family left in the dark? We'll unpack the courtroom drama, the protest, and the second life lost amid community outrage. Meanwhile, PPPC's 2025 vision unveiled. Dr. Barjaglio lays out key campaign promises if the PPPC is re-elected, from flood relief to free cash grants and improved waste management. But will it be enough to win over voters? And on the global front, President Donald Trump makes a surprising appeal to Vladimir Putin, urging an immediate halt to airstrikes on Kiev. As diplomatic tensions rise, what does this mean for the war in Ukraine? These stories and more coming up tonight on Headline News Update. Welcome to this broadcast of Channel 2's Headline News Update for April 25th, 2025. I am Bibi Bacchus. Thank you for joining us. First up, the Guyana Police Force has come under intense public scrutiny following the tragic death of 11-year-old Adriana Young, who was discovered lifeless in a swimming pool at the Doubleday Hotel in Tushin, East Bank, Essequibo, hours after being reported missing during a family outing. In a stunning reversal, police have admitted that their initial statement, claiming surveillance footage showed Adriana entering a red and black Toyota Ram that later drove off, was inaccurate. The Guyana Police Force said they have since launched an internal investigation into how the misleading information was disseminated and pledged to interview all officers involved. Transparency and accuracy in public communication remains a top priority, a police report stated. Adriana's disappearance on Wednesday and the discovery of her body on Thursday have sparked national outrage, igniting protests and allegations of police negligence. The situation worsened after it was revealed that the searches conducted the day before had failed to locate her in the same swimming pool on the same premises where she was eventually found. As the investigation continues, Adriana's grieving family met with President Dr. Mohamed Irfan Ali on Thursday evening. During the meeting, they declined the government's offer to have Barbadian pathologist Dr. Shubhakar Karapal perform the post-mortem examination, opting instead to nominate their own independent medical expert. The autopsy has since been postponed until the family's preferred pathologist is confirmed. While no official announcement has been made regarding their chosen pathologist, the government has agreed to fund all related costs and respect the family's decision. President Ali has assured the public of his administration's full commitment to uncovering the truth. He said no resource will be spared in getting to the facts. The president ordered the establishment of a special police unit to investigate the incident thoroughly. Amid the chaos, 25-year-old contractor Dion Jeffrey has come forward to clear his name after being wrongfully detained for over 12 hours in connection with the case. Jeffrey's rented car had matched the license plate number mentioned in the now discredited police report. Jeffrey said, quote, "I was shocked when I saw my car number on Facebook." He further noted that he had not even been to Tushin in over a week. Jeffrey was intercepted by police while transporting family members to the hospital and was taken to the Lagrange police station. Though he was not placed in a cell, he says he was kept under constant watch and treated as a suspect, an ordeal that cost him a $500,000 contract, and he fears his professional reputation. Jeffrey further noted that he was never involved in any abduction. He said he just wanted the truth to come out so he can live in peace. Jeffrey went on to say that he is a devout Muslim who maintains a quiet lifestyle and is now calling on law enforcement to issue a public correction and prevent a similar damaging error in the future. The case has shaken public trust in the police and fueled anger across the country. Protesters have blocked roads and set fires to the hotel and the private residence of its owner, demanding justice for Adriana and accountability from authorities. Police continue to urge the public to maintain calm and avoid spreading unverified information as investigations into the young girl's death unfolds. On a different note, traffic enforcement exercises conducted between April 6 and 19 have led to over 6,700 traffic charges being filed against road users across the country. The most common violations include speeding, failure to wear seatbelts or helmets, improperly loaded vehicles, driving without proper lights, and leaving vehicles in dangerous positions. Authorities also flagged breaches such as failing to comply with road signs and operating vehicles in violation of prescribed fitness conditions. The Guyana Police Force emphasized that these enforcement activities are part of a broader traffic management strategy, which also includes daily public awareness campaigns to help reduce preventable accidents. Motorists are urged to obey traffic laws, prioritize safety, and avoid reckless behavior. The public is reminded to do the right thing. In other news, Dr. Bharat Jagdeo has outlined key development priorities for the People's Progressive Party Civic if re-elected in 2025, strongly focusing on improving internal drainage, waste management, and the urban infrastructure. Speaking at a press conference on Thursday at Freedom House, Dr. Jagdeo revealed that thousands of suggestions have been received through PPP's ongoing public consultation initiative to shape its 2025-2030 manifesto. Among the top concerns voiced by citizens were blocked drainage systems, poor waste disposal, and urban congestion.
So the focus in the next term will be a lot on internal drains, but also putting in concrete drains in many of the communities.
Jagdeo acknowledged years of neglect and unregulated infrastructure as key factors behind flooding in communities and announced plans to construct concrete drainage and restructure drainage network nationwide.
A lot of those drains, internal drains, are blocked up. If you go around the city, we help in the city now because the city council does absolutely nothing in terms of drainage. So every year, the public works would give out hundreds of contracts for people to clean the internal drains. Up to a couple of days ago, we spoke with Minister Edgell. Actually, it was yesterday, and they're going to do that again throughout the city and many other communities to do internal drains, desiltings, etc. But the more structural work would have to be done too, because a lot of the drains are blocked up. People have filled there, like if they built a bridge, they've just solid cast the bridge there. And so the water doesn't flow easily. Here in central Georgetown, you see it, and many communities. So we'd have to do major restructuring to get this done.
The General Secretary of the PPPC also said the government had already provided heavy-duty equipment to neighboring democratic councils to assist with clearing and maintenance, but emphasized the need for more systematic changes. Dr. Jagdeo said each NDC will be equipped with designated garbage disposal sites as part of the government's long-term environmental plan for waste management.
Garbage collection and garbage disposal. Major issue for us as a country. I want to return to this issue and talk about the city and the pileup of garbage and what we'll do about it. But for the country, we're talking about building several in almost all the communities, or at least in every NDC, to have an area where they can dispose of garbage away from the communities, and also to build their capacity to collect and transport the garbage to these facilities. We started off by giving tractors and trailers, but now we're evolving this year. We're going to buy a number of compactors for these communities, starting with the most populous ones and the tongues, the 10 tongues across the country. We can start with those and giving them more compactors so they can easily collect more garbage and dispose of it.
Urban congestion is another major concern, and the Vice President said the government plans to create 10,000 new parking spaces in Georgetown by upgrading roadside and pavement areas.
And this is vital, not only to get the trucks off the road and off people's parapets, so that's why we're building these government facilities where you can go and park for a fee if you're a businessman and you have trucks and heavy duty equipment, etc. You can be parking them by the roadside. So, but we're working on that, but also parking for people. And so in the city, we're going to be focusing heavily on the concrete drains, but also on upgrading between the edge of the road and the drain wall, the curb wall, because now it's mud all over the place. So most likely these will be done with the concrete pavers. So you allow some vegetation to go through, but you have hard surfaces throughout the city. Apart from the investment in, like what we have done on the railway embankment, you have additional parking there and many parts of the city. This will go all the way to Kitty. We're thinking about 10,000 parking places, spaces for people in Georgetown. And that would be, and we can achieve this easily if we upgrade parapets on the roads and stuff. So people, if they come off the road slightly, they still have a hard surface on which to go. It's part of our plan in Georgetown and part of the beautification plan too for the city, but not just trees, but also upgrading parapets. And it's not just a Georgetown plan, it's for the country.
Plans also include expanding digital access to government services, enhancing the school feeding program, and reviewing student transport support. The Vice President hinted at the possibility of increasing cash grants for education-related expenses. Plans are also in motion to launch a development financing institution to support small businesses, while the government will continue to focus on land distribution and home ownership support. Jagdeo promised significant increases in the Because We Care cash grants and old age pensions. Additionally, vehicle taxes are expected to be reduced, and sports facilities nationwide will see significant upgrades. Stick around when we return. 1,500 house lots to be allocated in Region 6, and police sergeant charged with the murder of Ronaldo Peters in this month's shooting incident.
Mother's Day, Digicel is turning up the love and cooling things down.
Imagine surprising mom with a brand new fully stocked fridge.
Digicel is making it a reality.
You can win one of 4 fully stocked fridges
worth over $500,000.
Just top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to win weekly. It's that easy.
Top up today. The more you top up, the more chances you have to win.
Happy Mother's Day from Digicel. Better connected.
GCOM is currently conducting a national registration exercise. Who can register? Anyone who will be 14 years or older by June 30, 2025 and is a Guyanese citizen by birth, descent, naturalization, or is a citizen from a Commonwealth country living in Guyana for 1 year or more. Anyone eligible for registration is required to visit the GCOM registration office responsible for his or her area of residence to apply for registration. Persons who are already registered could apply for a name change if they have changed their names since they were registered. Apply for corrections if there is incorrect information on their national ID card. Persons who are desirous of conducting any of those transactions must provide the relevant supporting documents. Persons who have already registered must collect their new ID cards if they have not yet done so. This registration exercise will end on May 30, 2025. You need to apply for a transfer. if you now live at another address since you were registered. For more information, contact the GCOM on 225-02-7729 or visit www.gcom.org.gy.
Speak clearly with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Common Smalls make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny? I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. 2 weeks after the fatal shooting of 21-year-old Ronaldo Peters of Half Mile Wisma, Police Sergeant Philbert Kendall has been formally charged with murder and remanded to prison. The charge was filed following legal advice from the Director of Public Prosecutions. During a brief court appearance today, Kendall was not required to enter a plea as the charge is indictable. Notably, Peters' family was not informed of the charge or court proceedings. The incident, which occurred on April 7th, was caught on CCTV footage and showed Kendall, dressed in plain clothes, emerging from an unmarked private minibus and chasing Peters, who was at the time at a corner shop. Moments later, a gunshot rang out. Kendall was then seen dragging Peters' motionless body from a yard and loaded it into the same vehicle. Reports indicate that Peters was driven around in the minibus before being taken to the Wisma police station. From there, his body was transferred to a police vehicle and transported to the Mackenzie Hospital, where he was pronounced dead. At the time of the shooting, police claimed Peters was wanted for questioning in connection with a sexual assault case. However, the circumstances surrounding his death sparked outrage in Wisma community, leading to days of fiery protests. During one such protest, 32-year-old Keon Fujane was fatally shot after police reportedly fired 5 rounds to disperse demonstrators. Fujane, according to eyewitnesses, was on his way home when he was struck. An investigation into his death is ongoing, with several witness statements already collected. A joint probe by the Regional Security System and the Guyana Police Force's Office of Professional Responsibility is leading the inquiries into both deaths. As public pressure mounts, the community continues to demand justice and greater accountability from law enforcement authorities. In other news, in a major push to transform Region 6, East Berbice quarantine, and reduce the housing backlog, the government is set to allocate 1,500 house lots in the coming days under its ongoing Dream Realized housing drive. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell made that announcement today and said that the initiative aims to address 6,200 pending applications in the region. Since 2020, over 4,500 house lots have been distributed in Region 6, with nearly 4,000 new applications still pending.
Over the next 2 days, there are 1,500 house lots minimum that will be allocated in the new areas here in Berbice.
The first batch of 700 house lots was allocated today at Providence and Glasgow on the east bank of Berbice. An additional round of allocations is scheduled for May. Along with land, 173 persons will receive land titles, and others will benefit from the cement and steel vouchers valued at a total of $5 million. Minister Crowell emphasized that early home ownership is key to building generational wealth and ensuring economic stability for families.
You therefore have the opportunity now for this younger generation, as has been said, when in our period, when we become adults and we aspire to go on our own and we aspire to do our own planning. When you talk about owning your own home, you used to say, wow, I gotta wait until I reach 40 something or 50 something to get my own house. That's no longer a gaffe. The reality is, therefore, as to what we're doing, in your 20s, you will be able to be allocated your land as well as to be able to have your own home, therefore allowing you to start your future early, therefore allowing you, your family, to have that secure environment to operate and to also to help in the social fabric that we're ensuring that we have a family unit in a community.
Minister within the ministry, Susan Rodriguez, echoed that sentiment, stating that homeownership can reshape family legacies. She said it changes your future and generations to come. The government has invested over $16.3 billion in developing housing infrastructure in that region. In addition to residential development, the ministry is preparing land for agricultural purposes and continuing to regularize informal settlements to issue land titles to current occupants. Don't go away after the break. Malaysia's chip industry seeks alternatives amid U.S. tariffs, and tightened U.S. immigration rules force Latin American migrants to retrace steps.
This Mother's Day, Digicel is stirring up the love and cooling things down.
Imagine surprising mom with a brand new fully stocked fridge.
Digicel is making it a reality.
You can win one of 4 fully stocked fridges
worth over $500,000.
Just top up with $1,000 or more for a chance to win weekly. It's that easy.
Top up today. The more you top up, the more chances you have to win.
Happy Mother's Day from Digicel. Better connected.
Sneakily with a gift of sight from Modern Optical Services. Let our professional team examine and prescribe what's best for your eyes. Current smiles make fashionable faces. See us for a full line of optical services, including brand name and prescription eyewear. Modern Optical Services. 316 Middle Street, Georgetown. Telephone 226-1082.
Good girl forget things.
What's the problem, Granny?
I want money for borrow for those surgery. I was dancing and I fall and fracture my hip.
If you need some quick money, you should check Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop, lot 238 South Road Border, Georgetown. Get jewelry made to order in just 72 hours. We also accept vehicles. Lender's, best rates, longest payback period.
Boys, I get through. Plus, I could dance again.
Lender's Jewelry and Pawn Shop.
Welcome back. Now we take a look at what's happening in the region and around the world. In the Caribbean, 2 weeks after the Jet Set nightclub roof collapsed that killed 232 people in Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, the co-owner Antonio Espirat admitted that the ceiling was made of plaster tiles frequently damaged by leaks. In a televised interview, he revealed the club never underwent structural inspections in its 30-year history. Espiat, whose sister was trapped during the disaster, said he is devastated and wants answers about what caused the collapse. Meanwhile, in Central America, Venezuelan migrants, disheartened by tightening U.S. immigration rules, are abandoning their journey north and returning home. Many who crossed the perilous Darien jungle on foot now face dangerous sea routes back, controlled by criminal groups exploiting them. Al Jazeera's Alexandra Rampieti reports.
A boat carrying Venezuelan migrants docks in Capurganá, Colombia, but this time it's bringing them closer to home. It's become a daily scene. More and more migrants, mostly Venezuelans, are giving up on their journey north after US President Donald Trump tightened immigration rules. Raúl Marín spent 8 months in Mexico waiting for a US visa appointment until his American dream, as he calls it, fell apart.
We set out to work, to help our families. I have 3 kids in Venezuela. I left them to come here. He has 2. We gave everything up for their future, but it didn't work out. Now we're headed back with nothing but broken dreams.
A sentiment shared by all.
I cried, I called my parents, my dreams collapsed. I just wanted to help buy my mum a house. I have a 9-year-old daughter being raised by her grandparents. We really believed when the new president took office, they'd give us at least 3 months, a chance for those of us already in line.
After crossing the treacherous Darien jungle on foot heading north, they're now forced to return via dangerous sea routes. The boat journey from Panama can cost at least $280 and takes up to 10 hours in rough waters. Criminal groups control the passage, often trapping migrants in remote villages, forcing them to spend more money.
This is what I have left to reach Venezuela. 30,000 pesos, $7. I will sell my phone to continue and try to make it back to Venezuela.
Colombia's Human Rights Office says that more than 3,500 migrants have crossed from Panama into Colombia through this route in just the first 2.5 months of this year. A sharp rise that's straining the limited humanitarian resources and that could be signaling a deepening crisis.
The condition of these people moving southward are very unsafe at the moment. This is a bit absurd that the government are somehow letting this criminal network and organized group operate all this route, because it's clearly when there is not a regular regularization option, there is not a formal route, then people will go through this other channel to return.
Some we met planned to return to Venezuela, others said they would try to stay in Colombia, but all agreed the journey wasn't worth it.
It wasn't worth it, but at least we're still alive, thank God, because many didn't make it.
They had set out for a new life, now they're going backwards just to survive. Alessandro Ampietti, Al Jazeera, Capurganá.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he is intensifying diplomatic efforts to end the war in Ukraine. His comments come after Russia launched its most devastating airstrikes on Kyiv in recent months, leaving at least 12 people dead. Al Jazeera's Mike Hanna reports.
Norway's Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre is the 13th world leader to visit the White House since President Trump took office in January. A valuable NATO ally, he was greeted warmly on arrival. The meeting was preceded by an impromptu news conference. President Trump making clear he was still pressing for a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine.
We are thinking that very strongly that they both want peace, but they have to get to the table. We're waiting a long time. They have to get them to the table, and I think we're going to get peace. We want to save 5,000 young people.
Earlier in the day, President Trump issued a rare public rebuke of the Russian leader in a message on his social media network. I am not happy with the Russian strikes on Kyiv, not necessary and very bad timing, he wrote. Vladimir, stop. 5,000 soldiers a week are dying. Let's get the peace deal done. After their meeting, the leaders took a second round of questions. The Norwegian Prime Minister emphasizing the importance of U.S. involvement in securing a peace deal.
U.S. engagement is critical, and President Trump made that possible. That is clear, that is obvious, it's really happening. Now, the important thing is that both parties have to know that they have to deliver, and they have to feel the pressure to deliver.
Norway has been a big supporter of Ukraine since the outbreak of the current conflict more than 3 years ago. And the president was asked, did the Prime Minister change his mind on the war?
I have no allegiance to anybody. I have allegiance to saving lives.
President Trump was also directly asked whether he's urging Ukraine to cede territory.
It depends what territory. They've been fighting. They've lost a lot of territory. And we'll do the best we can. Working with Ukraine, we'll do the best we can. But they lost a lot of territory.
The presence of former NATO Secretary General and current Norway Finance Minister Jens Stoltenberg added a layer of diplomatic experience to the discussion. Emerging very clearly is that the US is ramping up pressure on the warring sides to come to an agreement. And as part of this, an administration official has confirmed that Special US Envoy Steve Witkoff will be meeting Vladimir Putin this week. The sense in the White House, and indeed among the US's NATO allies, that the window to seal a deal is closing. Mike Hanna, Al Jazeera, at the White House.
Finally, Malaysia's rapid growing technology sector is bracing for disruption after the United States imposed tariffs exceeding 20% on chip exports. The levies have sent shockwave through Malaysia's semiconductor industry, which has become a major global player in the supply chain. Al Jazeera's Rob McBride reports.
Starting in the early 1970s, Malaysia was one of the first manufacturing centers in Asia for semiconductors. The high-tech sector has become so interconnected globally with complicated supply chains that imposing tariffs on any part of it, Malaysia believes, will have repercussions for every country, including the US.
US companies have been in Malaysia for the last 50 years, and they have grown leaps and bounds since 1972. And through all the recession, the upturns and downturns and everything, we have gone through the whole process. Not only that, we have helped the US companies to expand in the whole region.
Accounting for 20% of all semiconductor chips imported into the US, Malaysia's mission is to explain to Washington how trade taxes of 24% would harm the American industries which use them. With its current chairmanship of the regional organization ASEAN, Malaysia has gone to Washington representing not only itself, but also its Southeast Asian neighbors. Some of those less developed states are not so dependent on the US market, but others, like Malaysia, have been rapidly building their export sectors, putting them directly in the tariff firing line. That includes Vietnam, which is facing a punishing 46% levy on its exports to the US. A powerful incentive to forge closer ties with China, which seems to be the ultimate target in Donald Trump's trade war. President Xi Jinping's recent trip through Southeast Asia showed how Beijing is looking to restructure its trade links to compensate for possible exclusion from the US.
It's important for smaller countries around Asia, particularly in ASEAN, not to take sides, but then also to be cordial and friendly and to rely upon the long-term relationships and to say really we should be looking at the long-term relationship, building on that, not this short-term turbulence.
If the US levies remain in place, Malaysia seems ready to look for new markets, while hoping that a lifting of the tariff threat will permit a return to its export business as usual. Rob McBride, Al Jazeera, Kuala Lumpur.
This brings us to the end of our regional and global news coverage. Up next is the 3-day weather forecast. And that's FTV2 Headline News for this Friday evening. As we take our leave, we invite you to follow us on Facebook and YouTube. We will be off for the weekend, but you can tune in on Monday at 7 p.m. for more news. Until then, please take care of yourselves and each other and do have a wonderful weekend.